Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to share with you the GuanPu Art Museum of Ming-style Furniture. I want to share with you certain achievements and also the status quo of this area. Due to time limit, I will brief you on some of these aspects. In 2006, in May in particular, our technology was listed as state-level intangible assets. So GuanPu Museum is a state-designated place for the protection of the traditional methodologies. For GuanPu Museum, we pay attention to the Ming-style furniture study. As you see, Ming-style furniture enjoyed a great past with a fruitful achievement. However, for the Ming-style furniture, we are not clear about definition of Ming-style furniture. So for us, for GuanPu Art Museum, we are devoted to the furniture of Ming-style. You see, we have Ming-style and also Qing-style. So we just put it, and also the late Qing-style furniture. Our concentration is the Ming-style per se furniture. We'll be talking about the influence of Chinese Ming-style furniture on contemporary design and life. So the most profound will be the simplest. That's the subtitle. So the number one feature for Ming-style furniture is simplicity. Just now, our colleague from Tsinghua University shared with us the simplicity of the architecture. We can see this simplicity from Ming-style furniture as well. This simplicity doesn't come easily. Sometimes, if it's more complicated, it will kind of shade or conceal certain complexities, but certain difficulties. But the simpler, the more challenging for craftsmen. You know, the more complex the carvings, the easier it will conceal certain defects. So for culture perspective, it can achieve the simplification method. We call it the life and the philosophy of simplicity. This is something we should learn from the hash, from the sophisticated, over-sophisticated society to a simple, easier life method. For the Ming-style furniture, it just has influence of the Confucianism, the Zennism, and also Taoism. For example, for the traditional spirit and the traditional culture, we can see it in this Ming-style furniture. The simplicity, the transcendentalism, and also the inversion and the elegance. They are the characteristics of the design philosophy. From the Ming, it can be dated back to Song style dynasty, because Song furniture is the mother of the Ming-style furniture. In Song dynasty, we have the frame already, but for the Ming, they reached the epitome during the Ming dynasty. For Ming-style furniture, 4 adjectives: delicate, exquisite, simple, and elegant. Those are the 4 words to modify the Ming-style furnitures. For Ming-style furniture, we embodied in Ming dynasty and the late Ming and the early Qing dynasty. It made of hardwood and delicate and exquisite in design, and also elegant in making, and simple in style. You can see it is so simple. We don't see any carvings. Only in the middle, they had the independent, stand-alone carvings. For the rest, we just use the lines and frames without any detailed carvings or decorations. This is another classical example of the Ming-style. We call it fan-style or sector-shaped stools. This is Shu-bei. They call it Shu-bei chair. The configuration and the structure of Ming-style furniture, to be fair, they have the perfect proportion, they have the elastic curves, and also the combination of change and unity, and also pay attention to the static and dynamic harmony, and also the simplism and functionalism. So they have the simplism and also the structurally functioned special aesthetics feeling. So it has a profound influence on the world furniture design as a whole. For decoration, as I mentioned, the carvings are very simple. They pay attention to only the key part. For instance, for the sector-shaped chair, for this bed, for the whole, it's made of lines. But for different details, there are certain decoration for carvings and for decorations and also for bronze accessories. With those one, it can embody the philosophy of the designer and craftsman. This is they call it tooth head. This is Ru Yi, the Chinese accessories, the Chinese jewelry accessories. This is the museum. For GuanPu Museum, situated in Nanjing of Jiangsu Province, close to the Sun Yishan tomb. If you pay visit to Dr. Sun Yishan's tomb, you can pay visit to our museum, which is adjacent to the Dr. Sun Yishan's tomb museum. These are the same pictures. For the museum, we are so in the Ming's tombs in this area, we were allocated a particular space for the exhibition, which is very meaningful in itself. We have many seminars here. Mr. Wang, who is the father of Chinese Ming-style furniture study, and he, as he saw it, he believed that our GuanPu Museum was a very good representative of the Ming-style furniture preservation. In Nanjing, for the mining and for the study, you do good job, which is very meaningful in the mining of and exploration of the Ming-style furniture. Those are the representatives of Ming-style furniture in our exhibition.
So we used a very unique perspective to shoot the pictures for this Ming-style furniture. It is quite simple as the handle. However, for the carpenters, if we want to make the professional furnitures, say if any carpenter can make the Ming-style furniture, then he will also make the Qing-style furniture, but not vice versa. And for the Ming-style furniture, we have different categories in cultures, beds. However, the chairs are quite challenging for our carpenters. For example, if one carpenter can achieve the lines, then he's quite a good carpenter. If you ever had the chance to visit our GuanPu Museum, you will definitely see that. So if we want to compare their skills of the carpenters, we just look at the two chairs. Then we can see the chair is beautiful or not. The same chair, for example, for our handle, the curves, the lines are quite good. And maybe this is has something to do with style in the southern area, like Zhejiang or etc. in the Ming Dynasty, were discriminate for those kind of scholars. So they want to pursue those kind of life in the courtyard. That's why in terms of the designing, they want to achieve those kind of simple or simplicity. and they have quite a very huge driving force for designing such kind of architecture. So for the scholars in the southern China, their life are quite dedicated and exquisite. Just for this simple line of this handrail, we know that it's not straight. And for the Qing dynasty, they are quite straight in terms of lines. But for Ming style, they are quite kind of curves. So it's quite demanding for the carpenters. As we restored this furniture, a lot of carpenters came to the examination. At the very beginning, some carpenters were quite good. They said, I definitely could make it, but it turned out that they have to receive direction or guidance from our designers so that they can make it. And also another type of those kind of Zen stool for them to do the meditation. And also the Zen chair. So chairs are quite important. If we take the Ming Dynasty Zen chair, for example, very simple structure and many focusing on the functionality. It's also almost extreme of simplicity. And then for such kind of furniture, if we look at this chair, kind of a miniature of the architecture. So we think that the furnitures are quite related to the architecture. It's a quite a classic example. Those kind of tourists will do the meditation on this chair. And also such kind of pictures. Bauhaus school in Germany. The design concept and also style are quite influential even until the present day. And currently we have 80% of the architectures in the cities following this school. And if we look at the frame or structure of our Ming-style furnitures, and then we can find a kind of a relationship. And the Bauhaus school also emphasizing on the simplicity. A German architect designed his own home based on the framework. Another famous architect designed for his friend, a doctor, and they entered into a suit at that time. It is also originated from this kind of frame or structural concept. So we have such kind of lines or structures in our Song dynasty. So the Chinese ancestors were quite amazing in their work. It's quite simple. And the owners invited the designer to do the interior decoration design. This is a place for him to meet his concubine. And then, why you design this kind of style? How I can meet my mistress in such kind of place? And then the designers won the suit. So until now, it still exists in Germany. You can pay a visit to this architecture. Another famous case. I'd like to share with you on the designing for the home furnitures. And for long, the Ming-style furniture are quite simple, which are quite influential worldwide, like this kind of chair or this Chinese-style chair. We think that in terms of the furniture, chairs are quite close to us because ever since we come back to our home, we sit on the chair. Then we can extend it into the fashion, design, etc. So the chairs will be the second design language for the designers. And the designers have a lot of designing concepts, almost from the home furnitures, for example, from the chairs. And we also have a Danish designer who is very fond of the Ming-style furniture in China. So Hans is greatly affected by the Ming-style furniture. I think you are familiar with this picture. President Obama and the the Russian president, they held a conference on the environment. So Dans also attended that conference. The two heads of the stars are sitting on the chair designed by the Danish designer Hans. So this is a Chinese style furniture, or the Chinese style chair. And also some classic pieces of Hans. Hans acknowledged that his inspiration actually come from the Ming-style furniture of China. So as you can see, quite simple structures. And up till now, they're quite popular in our daily life. If you pay visit to the furniture cities in different cities, you can also find such kind of chairs. And for some banners, you can also find those Hans-style chairs. Coca-Cola from the Netherlands, together with Nanjing and Forestry University, that has a very good partnership, who was greatly affected by the Song-style furniture. So he had such kind of pieces. This is a red and a blue chair. The inspiration coming from Liu Songlian chair of Song dynasty. Liu Songlian was a painter in the Song dynasty. And GuanPu had some innovative work on the Ming-style furniture, integrating the ancient and also the modern. We shall have to inherit and innovate. However, our innovation shall have our basis from the Ming-style furniture. We spent almost 1 decade on restoring about 100 categories of the Ming-style furnitures. For the existing furnitures or the furnitures in the Great British Museum and etc., those are the Qing-style furnitures. Because they are wooden stuff, it's not easy for them to be preserved. So GuanPu spent a lot of time to restore such kind of pieces. Why? Because we want to interpret the tradition. We have to learn about the tradition, how about the dimension and ergonomics and etc. Then we can do some innovation. So we call it post-Ming-style furniture. That's to say, we have this kind of innovative Ming-style furniture, and you can still find the traces from the Ming dynasty in 2010. We are the only one institution in Jiangsu province to work out the ancient furnitures. We attended the 2010 Shanghai Expo. This is Chinese pavilion. As you can see, we were luckily chosen by the organized committee. This is called the Expo chair. And in the far away, you can see the Chinese pavilion. So it's quite similar to the outlook of the Chinese pavilion. So we have some elements in it to try to correspond to the Chinese pavilion. Maybe it's not quite clear. In the soft packaging, we used the traditional kind of cloth from Nanjing, and the other chair is a national guest chair. We also find some elements from the Ming-style furniture. And last year, based on the Ming-style furniture concepts, we had some creations. So we also applied for the patent. So it's quite modern. It looks quite modern. We call it the unity between mankind and nature. So the inspiration originated from the character of Tang, the heaven or the sky. It also looks like a person. And you can look at the shadow on the ground. And for this chair, we also used this popular material. Why we didn't use this wooden material? We used this transparent material, and now we have a lot of designers also used acrylic material.
See, this new material called acrylic is popularly used among other domestic masters as well. This is the one in the daily life. It's shown here. It's simple in design and the geometry in itself. People like the practical use together with the appearance. This is for the burning of incense and other small gadgets. For Ming style and the work attitude relation in Song Dynasty, the scholar man, the letterman back there, they thought it's a splendid. The most splendid one will be the most simple one. Personally, I like the Ming style furniture. For Ming style furniture, among the hustle bustle of urban life, the more competition among the peers, people walk away from the calm and tranquility in the past. So as I see it from the spiritual perspective, from spiritual to material, personally I believe Ming style the simplicity will give us a good carrier of the materials. I promote the products to calligraphy, painting, together with the furniture to our friends from overseas. This is the Han Xizai Yuan. That's the famous painting in China. To be fair, this is the modern interpretation of a Ming style furniture. For this space, it's so tranquil and so calm, while among this space, you will have the mental and psychological tranquility. So with your mind will be soothed in this atmosphere and ambiance. So that's what we are looking for among the hustle bustle of urban life. And in daily life, the recluse, the hermits, they retreat from the urban life to choose to live in the hilly areas and to have the self-seclusion. So we can find some balance and equilibrium among the Ming-style furnitures. This is the representation and expression of the Ming-style furniture. There's a study room. These are actually for Ming-style furniture. This is what we are creating now in design. To be fair, a lot of friends are looking for this kind of environment. Calligraphers, artists, businessmen, whoever, they would like to make a switch or change of their daily life with the availability of this kind of style for room and architecture and furniture. Time limit. On the floor. After you listen to the Ming-style furniture presentation, speaker, microphone please. Please transfer the microphone to the person who is raising the question. I visited the museum in Putian, and I see the high technology content furniture. And we have the daily exposure to furnitures. For Ming and the Qing style ones, they are the representative for the classical style. While I was visiting those museums, we have the set of three, we have the study, we have the table. They are for the cups, for Qing Dynasty as well. On the table, there's a extension, we call it extension joint, right? So my question to them is that why we have this 5 or even 8 centimeters joint beam? So why you should have this beam? Whether this is it's kind of regret. Whether you have some solution to that. So this is my question. So good question. For the extension joint, that's the ingenuity for the Asian craftsman. You know, for the tea table, from the original lumber to the timber, we have the life to the wood all the way here, because the texture, the Panbiao touched upon the breathing of life for the wood and the texture. Because the change of the texture for processing, we should give a play to them because later on in moisture it will expand a little bit, while in drying it will wither a little bit. So in the process we have to be thinking of the extension joint. So during the 100th anniversary of the birth of Dr. Sun Yat-sen, we made the renovation of certain ones. This is in front of the marble of the Dr. Sun Yat-sen's sculpture. You can see the tribute, the table was made by us, was renovated by us, because this made wood. So we dismantled it, disassembly all the pieces, including the extension joint of the tea table. Without the structure, it cannot sustain all the year round until today. So nowadays, because in the past it took a longer time to make the furniture, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, maybe even 10 years for a single piece of furniture. Because I paid visit to the Treasury of Forbidden City, and I took a look at the furniture for the emperors, for the imperialists. It took them. They put the timber exposed to the natural weathering because they don't have any drying ovens or drying furnaces. The longer it stays there, the more stable it is. So even this it stayed there for several years before being cut to furnitures. There will be change, or maybe nuance change to those furnitures being there for 200, 300 years. Still, while we are doing the furnitures, we don't have the patience in China nowadays. 200 years to 300 years, impossible. So with the PO today, you want the deliver tomorrow, right? So the rashness of these buyers is partly partly responsible for that. So for the stuff of so it will, with the availability of PO, please wait for 2 months or 3 months or half a year or 1 year. The factory will start the manufacturing. So the question for you is that during the delivery, out of commercial reasons, sooner rather than later, because they want the cash flow earlier and faster. So in this case, the time has been squeezed for the making of the furniture. So later on, you see the humidity between south and east, south and west, and south and north part of China are different. So because the humidity and the moisture from north to south, from south to north, so we have the reason for the extension. So from south to south, in north they have the heating system in winter, so there's a cracking sooner. And there's a reclaim, the callback from the the factory. But when the furniture was transferred back to the factory, there wasn't any cracking, because in south there wasn't any heating system in winter. It returned to the original shape. So why the extension joint is the outcome of the people's restlessness. Number two is that, technically speaking, we have certain new technology, new processes, and those new processes are in the making. For instance, we have the kind of dehydration methodologies. We can absorb the water earlier, but this is a new process which has advantages. For example, it can save a lot of time for the furniture. It's much better than the simple drying methodologies. However, it will control the 2 millimeter for the change. For the extension joint, it can be as big as 1 centimeter, because you can see the extrusion of the board. It's very serious. But now, because of advanced technology, we can control it to maybe 1 to 2 millimeters. It's invisible almost to the naked eye. But still, people have another idea, which I agree, that is the timber has life, the wood has life. I want to make a change. Many consumers, they don't have the same knowledge as the producers. The change of the furniture through the maintenance of the carpenter, of craftsman, it will be as good as the original one. No extension, no cracking, no change to the naked eye at all. So a lot of consumers don't know the whole picture of the story. They are not at the same boat, at the same picture. Thank you. Thanks for your explanation.